memories and travel like gypsies in the night. And 1,000 times I've seen this road, 1,000 times. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the. I like digging holes and hiding things inside them. When I grow old, I hope I won't forget to find them. 'Cause I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. I build a home and wait for someone to tear it down, then pack it up in boxes, head for the next town running. 'Cause I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. And 1,000 times I've seen this road, 1,000 times. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the.
What is going on? What is going on, people? It's Monday, the 18th of October. That close, Q4, 2 more months. Christmas time, people. And then we head off into 2022, those of us that are blessed to make it. So shouts out to everyone who is joining me now. Shouts out to everyone who will be joining me a little bit later on this live stream or even in the replay. Shouts out to the replay folk, man. Got to represent for the replay folk. I had a call today from someone who checked out the replay. While we were checking out the replay, don't forget to like and share it. I'm dropping gems. Perhaps someone can learn from this information. There's a bunch of people who can get gems and information, tangible information, things that you can take and use in your own life, use in your own business in order to take the next step. I've got plenty of experience. I won't say I made plenty of mistakes. I don't really make mistakes, you know. I don't make mistakes. No, I'm joking. Check this out, man. I said, let me share some of these mistakes. And if I really went into depth on it, we'd probably be here all night. But I make the mistake so you don't have to. Hove did that. So hopefully you won't have to go through that. Mike did that. So you don't have to go through that. I'm giving you the information. I'm giving you my mistakes. I'm giving you my lessons. And you all can learn from it. Let me see. I think I compiled a list of about 9 or 10. 9 or 10 mistakes, lessons that I've learned in life. A lot of these things you can, like I said, you can take it and use it. Don't do it. If you have some mistakes or lessons that you've learned, feel free to type it in the comments. We can go back and forth. I don't need to be the only one sharing tonight. If you really feel froggy, I'll drop the link and you can jump in. Other than that, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. The number, and these don't go in any particular order, first off. These don't go in any particular order. They just came to me as I was thinking, as I did this show and thought that I would share. So the number one, listening to old people. Now, please, I don't care how you take it. I'm just going to be honest. I really don't care how people take it. Some people that we come across in life, and I don't care. This could be your mother, this could be your father, this could be your uncle, your grandparents, whatever, they have some of them have an interesting mindset based upon scarcity and just a poor mindset. Not even broke. It's okay to have to be broke. It's not okay to be poor, because being poor is a mindset. Being broke is just showing what's in your bank account. Things happen. So, you might have a rich mindset because you can make the money tomorrow. There's always times that sometimes you have these ups and downs, especially as you start to ascend. So you can be broke, but you can't have a poor mindset, and you definitely shouldn't have a scarcity mindset and a fear-based mindset. And a lot of our older people have just that. They have that. So you can easily get caught up into listening to some people, and oh my God, some of these older folk, they never did anything in their life, never attempted to, never tried. They say dumb stuff. They say dumb stuff. They say stuff like, oh, well, it's it's better to have this job than not. No, not if your job sucks. If your job sucks and it's sucking the life out of you, it's not better to have that. It's better to not have that job and open and therefore you maybe open up another door. But you grasping on to this because you have a fear, scarcity based mindset, thinking that there's not more out there. Another thing that a lot of old folks tend to do, a lot of old folks tend to trade time for money and think you should trade your time for your money. There's nothing wrong with a hard day's work. But you know what hard days works begets you? More hard days work. There's more hard days work. You can work hard and you can work smart at the same time. Work hard and work smart at the same time. A lot of older people, I'm talking to you Generation Z people, man. Or excuse me, X. I'm talking to you all. And the baby boomers. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. There's just been a time for us to give you all, we've just given you all too much reverence. I'm not saying that we need to disrespect you, but we don't need to take everything that you all give us and just take your word for it. People, do your research. I'm not talking about being, not having manners. I'm not saying that you don't disrespect people. But really, when people tell you, and they tend, and the baby boomers are the worst because the baby boomers are like loud and wrong. They're loud and wrong. And they will not take accountability for where we are currently in the community. You baby boomers. I like the silent generation. The ones that were before the baby boomer. This was my grandfather. This is my mentor now, Jim Wolf. That generation, they worked hard, they understood it, and they left things if they had it to leave. Though that generation left houses, that generation opened up jobs and were industrial. The baby boomers and the Gen X's, not so much. Not so much. We are in the millennials, and I know you all talk bad about millennials, but we have to teach you something. I think a lot of millennials have been silent. We've been silent enough, and we were being put through having to listen to you all, especially if you had a job. 9 times out of 10, your supervisor, if you're a millennial, your supervisor was a Gen Xer or a baby boomer. Gen Xers are just loose. They forgot what they were doing. I remember what you Gen Xers was up to. I was younger, but I was paying attention. But the baby boomers, selfish generation. Super selfish generation. So that was probably one of my mistakes. It didn't take me long to catch on. I say probably when I hit about 20 or so, when this is not making sense. A lot of stuff that you all have going on. So That's one of my mistakes. Number two, living in a victim mentality. Not just living in it, but swimming in it. Swimming in a victim mentality. Woe is me. And it's interesting coming from me because I don't necessarily like take it in, but I can say I have done it. Okay. This is not something that would be a part of my personality or character, but there's times when I have done it, lived in a victim mentality. Woe is me. Thinking about things that happened in the past, thinking how people got over on me, took advantage of my niceness, took my kindness for weakness. And this is the thing about living that victim mentality is a lot of it came from like having expectations of people, thinking that people operated like me. And then when they didn't operate like me, I was hurt by it. I was disappointed and I was hurt by it. And so, one of the things that Gary Vee speaks about, don't expect anything from people. And I had an excellent conversation. He happens to be a Generation Xer. He happens to be a Generation Xer. A cousin of mine, we spoke at length over the weekend, a couple hours. And he said, expecting certain things from certain people is like trying to eat soup with a fork. Like you're having and you're expecting to get a lot of it. You know what I mean? Just put the fork down, put the bowl to your head. Don't even use the fork. But don't expect change from people, especially if they're baby boomers or Gen X's. I'm gonna hate on you all tonight. But that was it. I think, so living in that victim mentality, there's nothing there. There's nothing in this victim mentality that's going to get you anywhere. And a lot of us really need to do some self-reflection. And listen, there's a time for it. And that's immediately when it happens. Go into it. Experience this. It's a human, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So experience the disappointment, experience the frustration, but that will not take you to the next level. You can essentially be there forever. And some people are. Some people live in a victim mentality forever. We know some of these people. You know some of these people. So you watch it and see how pitiful it is. And don't even feel, don't even feel sorry for, just stay away from them. Hey, I'm gonna pray for you. Right? I can say there were certain points in times when I got into that victim mentality. Woe was me. I did not take accountability for what the parts that I played in what happened. And that's actually where the strength is. The strength is in when you figure out, like, what did I do? How did I make space for all of this to happen? See what Ty, in life, you just have to know everybody, not you. They don't think like you. One thought, listen, say it again for the people in the back. Everyone does, and I'm gonna tell you what I've done with that. Listen, and I'm talking about close people to me. I'm telling them to their face, listen, we do not move the same. Our goals and our visions do not align. So for that reason, I cannot be around you like that. For that reason, this is why this boundary is set. Set boundaries with those kind of people, man. 1000%. I want to move on to the next one. Attempting to become an island. Now, this is based on what I just said, and what I'm getting into is follow me. Attempting to become an island. I am fine by myself. I am a middle child. I do not want to be on the forefront. I don't need to be in. I don't necessarily need to get I don't need to get all the accolades for whatever is happening. just cut me my check, right? That's how I want to be recognized, when you cut me the check for the work that I've done. But that type of thought process is not going to take me to the next, or would not take me to the next level. Just being on my own, it's great to be on your own. You learn a lot, but there's also a time when you can overdo it. So there was a point in time when I was just like, listen, we have the internet now. I can do a lot of things online. I don't necessarily have to go out and meet people, etc. It's a lie. Your net worth is your your network is your net worth. It's what that is 1,000%. Not only is that 1,000%, but people are the key to life. You have all these locks inside of you. You're locked up. You got to meet people, because when you're meeting people, you can kind of see certain things in them that you can either emulate, or you can say, listen, I don't want to any part of that. And if it triggers you, that means that there's something about them that's in you as well. Because people tend to be mirrors of yourself. So in order for you to see yourself, you have to be around people. Set boundaries with these people, but also go out there and find your tribe. If you can find, and this is the issue, if you can find 4 to 5 people who are similar to you and going in the right direction, the sky is the limit. The sky's the limit. The issue is that you're gonna be hard pressed to find those kind of people. But that's why you just got to keep working on it. 95% of people aren't they're nothing. It sounds bad me saying it, but 95% of people are they're sheep. 5% of people are making their, and I'm being generous when I'm giving you this number, but 5% of people, I would say 5% of people are actually moving in a certain direction. And that number applies almost anywhere, in any kind of whatever you're thinking about, whether you're looking for a significant other, whether you're looking for business partners, etc. 95% of the people that you come across aren't going to be anything. 5% are going to be worth your time and investment, but you got to find them. You cannot be an island. No man is an island. It's good to have people to share your wins with. It's good to have people to be around during your losses and to pick you up. Choose wisely, but you need people. Okay, do not be an island. Oh man, I like this one. Not living in abundance. The world is yours and everything. And I think that's a Wu-Tang song clip. The world is yours and everything in it. The world is yours and everything in it. It's out here in abundance for you. Let me see what tied. I don't find no one like me. Let me see. I don't want to find no one like. I like the people. Nobody understand. They come off brilliant me, refresh my ideals. It's somebody like you, Ty. They might be on the other side of the earth, but they there. It's people who are like, and when I say like you, I mean like-minded. And I'm not saying a carbon copy. Everyone has their own idiosyncrasies, nuances, etc. Because no one's have lived a life. We're like a fingerprint, But there are like-minded people, and there are people headed in your direction. And we can go. What is it? We can go farther by ourselves. We can go far by ourselves, but we can go quicker together. Excuse me. We can go quicker by ourselves, but we can go farther together. You get a bunch of like-minded people in a room, 5, 10 people that's thinking on the same, like that's that's how you move mountains. That's how you move mountains. But getting back to the abundance thought process. Listen, it's important that you get around people who have these. I was on a call today with a coach. And they said, I mentioned something about the Home Depot special. He said, Mike, he said, wealthy people don't go to Home Depot unless it's for fun. Like that's what the contractors are for. I mean, and so I'm talking to this guy who's a millionaire times over in real estate. Young guy. He's probably like in his early 40s to mid 40s. I mean, it's great to have that kind of thought, because you got to know that it's out there, man. I come from a place where it's just like you got to just work hard. You got to work hard. Shouts out to my mother because she was abundant minded, knowing that there was more out there. But then I got a whole other side of the family that's just straight in the gutter. You know, scarcity minded, will not, you know, and I don't, you know, it's hard to change their mind about anything. And for that reason, I got to limit myself with that type of stuff because you want to live in abundance. You want to know that it's coming. Pause. you want to know that there's more out there. You're not, when you live in that scarcity mind, like everything becomes a competition. If this person gets $5, it's like they took your $5. So now you're mad at this person for gaining $5 instead of being excited for him and saying, man, he got $5. I might get 20 now. And that's the kind of thought process you need to have. But when you live in that scarcity mindset, you're automatically just, like I said, everything becomes a competition. Oh man, I'm in real estate, so this person lost. Oh man, that's the house I should have sold. This person, oh, he took my listing, he took my sale, he took my. You don't want that. Okay, there's plenty out there. There's more than enough for everybody. There's more. I mean, there's more than enough. More land, more opportunities, more money, more whatever it is. But you have to get out of that scarcity mindset. You have to live in that abundant mindset. And I think for a while, I lived in a scarcity mind. I wasn't living in an abundant mindset. I remember the saying was like, you don't turn down nothing but your collar. No, let me tell you something. When you find out quick in the business world, all money is not good money. Turn it down. I don't want it. You know how many contracts I walk away from? Nope. I walk in and I do a meeting, and my energy and that person and the person's energy, the client's energy is not vibing. I appreciate the opportunity. I don't think this is for me. I don't want to wake up stressing because of whatever you have going on. There's another tip. One of my mentors taught me at the time. He said, Mike, there's a money line and there's a headache line. The moment the headache line passed the money line, then it's not worth it. So what does that mean? That means that you can have a contract for $1 million job, but the headache is $1,001,001. Turn it down. You don't want to do $1 million job and it'd be $1 million and one headache. It's good because everything becomes a problem then. And life is real. Listen, life is too short for everything to become a problem. To wake up in the morning and not want to go to where you're going to. I'm not saying I was listening to a broadcast earlier. I'm not talking about something like, living in your passion. I don't necessarily think people have to live in their passion. I think you need to get money. I think people need to get money. And you can become passionate, like you can learn to love somebody. You can learn to love what you do if it's paying you enough money. You're not going to complain if you're getting enough money for it. I'd still be at the city if they was paying 6 figures for what I was doing. It's worth it. It's worth me listening to certain people. Charles Barkley and I don't know what we used to call the big dummy. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Tired. He's still on there. But what I was getting paid, I can make that doing nothing. What he said, I don't know what you mean. No, you won't. I'm talking about the big dummy and I'm getting paid what I was getting paid at the city. Not worth it. Could not worth it. It's not worth it. Let's get into the next one. Not letting go. Yeah, 1000%, Ty. That headache was crazy. Not letting go. And even not letting go fast enough. Like, we got to let go of some of this stuff, man. Some of these things, some of these problems, some of these issues, some of these people that continue to, have space in our head rent free. They're not paying for it. Some of these people could care less about what it is. Like, let it go. And how you let it go is by forgiving them. forgive. We gotta learn to forgive. And that was one thing that I continuously work on to this day is forgiving people. Like I have to forgive people for, hey, listen, it was disappointing. I forgive you. Read a book, read a good book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna check it out. Listen, because the easier, I mean, and you got to make it easier, and forgiving and letting go is like a muscle. And a lot of us haven't worked on it in a long time. A lot of us tend, and I'm going to speak to the men on this. A lot of us men tend to be over emotional because a lot of us men were raised by women, as opposed to being rational and logical. You cannot change the past. It is what it is. And some people will never apologize for their mistakes. It is what it is. That does not stop you. That does not stop you from forgiving them. I see. It's not even effort. I think we're putting too much emotion onto something that we shouldn't put that much emotion onto, because even though we feel like, oh man, effort, I ain't worried about it. Like, that's something that a person would say, I ain't worried about it. You still worried about it because you wouldn't have said nothing. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite is not hate. It's being indifferent. You have to become indifferent to people, and you become indifferent to people by letting it go and forgiving them and forgiving yourself for whatever it is that y'all went through, you and the person. So that goes for parents, exes, whatever. Anybody who might have did you wrong, go get that therapy, become indifferent to it, forgive those people. I'm not saying you go seek these people out. No. But hey, I'm letting it go. Because the more that we hold on to stuff, the harder it is for other things to come into our lap. This is not some esoteric type thought process that or what I'm speaking. It's just the truth. It's the truth. Let it go. Let it go. Forgive. Don't forget. Forgive. And don't have any expectations. You know what it is. Here's another one. The next one. Taking in too much information and not applying. Taking in too much information and not applying it. I read a lot. I think sometimes it's like at a detriment. I take a lot of courses. I listen to a lot of different coaches. I was anyways. I'm at a point now where just like find something and just give it time. Whether it's a new book that you're reading, like give it time to soak in. How much information do we really remember from a lot of these different books? I think the studies, it was a study shown that it was like 10% of the information that you take in is what it might be 10%, it might be less than 10%, but it's no more than 10%. Get some good principles out of that book, write it down, see how much it aligns with what it is that you have going on, and get it out the way. As for these courses and these coaches and this other information, this is what you should do. If you're going to purchase a course, whatever course it may be, it needs to be something that's going to give you some type of return within the next 30 to 60 days, whatever it is. Like, you should be able to quantify. You should be able to put numbers to. You should be able to have metrics to whatever it is. That way you know whether you getting a good return or not. Oh man, that was a great course. What you do with it? Did you make money off of it? If that's what you're going for. Or did it, if it's a course, some type of life skills course, are you using that life skill? Right? I took in a lot of information for a while. For about a year, I was just taking, probably more than a year, just reading all kinds of books and feeling and getting high off the ego, being egotistical and saying, man, I read 30 books this year, 20 books. What did you take from any of those books, if anything? Review the books when you're done. This book is trash. Do not get it. Do not recommend it. Okay. So that was it. I think we're heading up. I think I got one or two more. Here's one. Not putting out more content. Not putting out more. And I always say I have so much things going on in my mind. Like I should put out this information. I should have put out this video. I probably should just like write a book and then just teach off of the things in this book. And that might be the best way. But either way, just get it out there, man. It does not have to be perfect. A lot of us have stories to tell. And guess what? The younger people need to hear it. The younger people who came after us need this information. We got the short end of the stick as millennials. We missed out on having a lot of fathers in our households. I'm not just blaming it on the fathers, but that's just the first layer of it. It gets a lot deeper. And we really need to do a study into the last 30 to 40 years. I would say the last 40 to 50 years, actually, that's where it should be. The last 40 to 50 years, because our community got crapped on the last 40 years. The single mother, strong woman, I will never call another woman strong in my life again. I'm putting it on here on this thing. It's not, I don't think it's not a real good compliment. There's some of these people aren't strong, they just stupid. You got some good men out here that aren't in the lives of their child because a person wants to be looked at as if they're strong. Does that make sense? For their own egos. I'm not putting it on just on the ladies, but the results are in. 70% of the people in prison come from single mother households. That has to mean something. These numbers have to mean something. I'm not blaming it on the women. I'm not blaming on the men. Some of this stuff was systematic, but some of this stuff was just plain ignorance and people taking advantage of certain things and being egotistical about it. This is Mike. I'm giving you the real. I don't know how else but to be what it is, whilst taking accountability for what it is that we do, fellas. We have to be. We got and listen to Uncle Mike. Mike did that, so you don't have to go through that. So a lot of this information, I said all that to say this, a lot of us have a lot of information and we need to get it out. And when we give out this information, we're not preaching to these young folk. What we're simply telling them is that, listen, this is the trap. You want to say what you don't want to say. I don't know. What didn't I say, Ty? I'm not too scared to say what it is. I think it's very multi-layered. There's a lot of statistics coming out about it. But because we got caught in the trap. We got caught in the trap, and I'm not, and this is not from a victim mentality. But I mean, as much as I thought I knew about the system, I didn't know about the system like how the system is. I didn't know that people could be, certain people could be the way that they are, like in detriment to their children. They would rather look a certain way for people to be validated by people who don't care nothing about them. A lot of people are looking to be validated by people who don't care anything about them. I'm going down a tangent on this one, but I'm just saying, the more so the reason why, now that we have platforms like this, for us to have the conversation. And that way, at least the information is out there. Because I didn't get the information from my father or uncles or any male role model in my life as such. We came along attempting to figure it out on our own. A lot of us became men on our own. Women can't raise a level man on their own without a positive male presence. Brother, you preach. Yeah, I agree. I agree. 1000%. What ends up happening is that we take on a lot of a woman's characteristics. So you got the emotional, women tend to be more emotional than men, along with the power of being a man. That's scary. That's how you get a lot of people going to jail for being because it could be fear based. No, it could be. It's fear. It becomes this. People are scared of that. You ever met somebody who was emotionally unstable? A man, an emotionally unstable man? I met a bunch. I know a lot of them. Right. So I agree 1000% on that to that. So us for being men, we have to jump back into it. Listen, find a lawyer. You got if you can't, if there's an issue, go get a lawyer. Go get this thing figured out from the beginning, man. The moment that you really should be if you aren't married, because you don't especially in the state of Florida. Let's talk about it in the state of Florida. If you're not married, you don't really have rights as a man. I mean, you do, but you can go, but you need to get them. You need to do all you need to go through the entire process. You need to and have it written down on paper. Stop going back and forth and stop arguing with these people, man. Stop arguing with people. Stop arguing with irrational people. Oh man, that was another conversation that me and my cousin had. He said that's essentially what he said. He said you can't argue or have conversation with irrational people. And when we were talking about a man in this case, like we're talking about a guy who's irrational, completely irrational. So it's like you have to limit your time with that and state the facts and limit your time with those type of people. But we as men, because it starts with the man and it ends with the man, need to go about working it out, doing the system the way that the system's supposed to happen. And that starts by hiring a competent lawyer. Because a lot of people will tell you, you go in there without a lawyer, they're going to tell you what it is. They're going to tell you what it is, and you're just going to come out being mad. Figure it out, man. Figure it out. Gotta get smarter. Gotta get smarter. Let me see. I think I have one more. Not stepping up. And I'm saying this. And these are, I guess this one in particular is more so of like a regret than anything. Yeah, I got regrets. And man, when I think about certain things of like when I could have been moving a lot quicker, I could have moved with a lot more intention, as opposed to thinking. Is it told me if I want to? Let me see. If I want to talk to get lawyer, that was what Almar said. Receipts don't mean nothing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If it's better for you to give them cash and and have them write a receipt to you, or to transfer the money or transfer the money to their account, because it doesn't matter what you could buy. That's just a gift. So it's best if you look, Zelle everything right now. Zelle or Cash App. Now you got Cash App. Ty, you old. We didn't have Cash App. We didn't have Cash App back then, but you should have been writing checks. Write checks, Zelle, Cash App. Make sure you have that paper, that money trail showing that they was getting it. But that has nothing to do with the shared custody as well. There's no problem for you to be paying X amount of money. They're gonna get it out of you here, especially here in Florida, whether or not they take your driver's license or they send you to jail or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about you have to go get your child. You need to go get shared custody, and you need to work it out. And I'm thinking about that too, because raising a child is tough, especially for single parents. That's both on the male and the female. But it's like you got, and as a man, you need to make money. Oh man, hold on, y'all. Give me one moment. I think my camera went dead. camera went dead. I think y'all can still hear me though. I think I gotta give it a little bit of time for it to. I think I can use my other camera. Give me a second. This one's gonna be terrible. Let's see how this one looks. Ugh. Ugh. All right, cool. This is the other camera. I'll wait till this other camera comes back online. Let me see. I knew I didn't have a chance to judge with a 36-year-old black woman. I was like, just let me tell you something, man. Go out. First off, you need to go vote. You need to go check these judges' records, etc. It's our fault. It's our fault. And that goes on to say, this is part of the reason why I'm having this conversation. I'm going to go even into more depth with it. And that's where this content comes from. I don't know if you all been seeing, I've been putting on like my stories. If you are checking out my Facebook stories, I'm just putting up like a little recipe in regards to making jerk chicken, cooking, etc. And a lot of these kids don't know it. We as men need to be able to do a lot of these things. We don't have our foundation together. We don't have a lot of foundation. So now we're just because we don't have a foundation, because we're not getting the education, because we're not getting the knowledge, we are being, we're being told how to live our lives. We're being told how to live our lives. Imagine if before you got into all this situation, someone sat you down and was like, someone older that you had respect for was like, this is how it's going to go. You need to get your money up to go do this. I said, damn, I don't eat. I mean, you can make jerk tofu, I guess. I wasn't doing that joy for a while, but I had to go back to the chicken. Fish, I guess fish is meat, so you probably don't eat fish as well. I'll be doing like the rice, etc. Like I'm just showing people that you need to be able to make certain basic dishes as a man. It's just a lot of men aren't being taught to be men. And a lot of men, because they're not being taught to be men, get involved in certain situations, moving in with people. Okay, so yeah, pescatarian. So you get fish. Fish is good. I'll give you some dope fish recipes. Of course, Jamaican, because that's my culture. But a lot of men are you're being railroaded. You don't understand the game. We don't understand the game, and then we don't have a solid foundation. We're not doing the work. Another part of the conversation I was having with my cousin who's older than me, I think he's about 15, maybe 12, 13 years older than I am. Maybe a little bit old. No, he's older than that. 14. He's probably about 14, 15 years older than I am. A lot of the stuff we're learning, I can't believe I'm just learning this stuff now. I'm 38 years old. I'm just learning certain things that should have been learned a long time ago. And for millennials, because a lot of us were taught by our grandparents how to do a lot of things. Tell me I'm lying, Ty. I can guarantee you that your grandparents taught you a lot more. For me, my mother was a godsend because she was actually, she had that instilled in her. But a lot of my mother was a baby boomer. A lot of baby boomers did not teach their kids anything. Gen Xers for dark, definitely. You Gen X, where's my camera? Here it is. You Gen Xers did not teach the kids anything. You all, I'm talking to you. You didn't teach kids anything. So it's up to us at this point in time, having a platform to be able to give people the foundation, to be able to let them understand the rules of this game, because it's a game. And if you're not playing the game, you're getting played by the game. You're getting played by the game. So you need to learn you need to learn the rules. And that's what a part of why I'm coming out here is teaching, is to learn the rules. So getting back to the last one was like that, not stepping up. So for me, man, I think about Rasan, and all the thoughts and all of the goals and visions that we had, even back then. This is when I'm in my 20s, because he passed away in 2008. So that was 13 years ago. So yeah, I was 25, 26 years old. I should have been so much further along than where I was at the time if I had just sat down and buckled up. And in my mind, God doesn't make any mistakes. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, if I had got these things right, maybe, a lot of the negative things that people were into at the time, we could have found a better way. Because as soon as I started understanding the game, there's so much more money on the other side of the game. Instead of doing some of the knucklehead stuff that we did and taking certain chances that were taken, because we didn't know. We watching movies. Generation X didn't teach us nothing. Baby, we didn't know. So now, God so spared us for me to be up here having this conversation, for Ty and us to be going back and forth, and we have this platform. Like, we have to, and this platform allows us not to necessarily have to be in the hood or be in certain parts of the community to help reach them. That's why I said like and share this broadcast, because maybe one of them will come across it and they'll reach out, or maybe they can take something from it. So yeah, I'll that, like I said, that last one was more of a regret than a mistake. It was like, man, I wish I had gotten a lot more serious. But then it's like, even when you got a lot more serious, like, how much time would we have had anyways, right? But it's still something that I think about, just because of the conversations that we had. You know what I mean? Especially in that last year, 2008, he and I had a lot of conversations about, opening up different stores, etc. So it was just like, Ty said, it's just what we were born into. My uncle taught me to use tutoring before I knew how to use a calculator. I had to learn life on my own. We are 1,000%. I bet you your uncle was I bet you your uncle was a Gen Xer. Was he born between? Was he born before night? Was it 1981? I think it was 60. Was it 61 or 62? Matter of fact, I'll tell you what a Gen X is, because Lou sent it to me. You all give me one moment as I pull it up. 1965 to 1976. Was he born 1965? Between 1965 and 1976? I will even go a little bit earlier than that, probably like 1961. Gen X's, man. I want to say you all got some explaining to do, but I don't even want to hear it at this point in time. What I would like for the Gen X's and the baby boomers to do right now is just to get out of the way. Get out of the way. Give us some leeway. Just support, and don't support by giving us money. If you don't have any money in order to move to the next step and the next level, then just get out of the way. You all are still hogging up all the jobs for people to get into, to make actual change. We saw that at the city. You all are trying to live. You all are trying to be in the now when it's time for you to move your feet. Like, move your feet. Okay, then keep your job, but let the young people who are around take it to the next level. Stop blocking stuff because the ideals didn't come from you. That's it, man. Anybody got any questions? Please put it in the comments. I will reply. You all can always DM me. This was an interesting one, man. This was an interesting one. I hope I gave you some of the mistakes I made, some of the ways that I'm correcting them. I know I blamed a lot on you Gen X's, but you all need some straightening. That's what the song say. We need some straightening from you. And the straightening we need from you guys is for you all to get out of the way. Look what you all did during this election, the last year's election. I'm gonna call it out. Last year's election and everything that was going on during that time. Who's after us? The Gen Y? Who's after us? There's the Gen X, the Gen Zs. Yeah, the Zs. I thought the millennials and the Gen Zs had it. We had a movement going on, prior to the election. Now, all of a sudden, here come this election, and this fear-based thought process. Oh, but whatever the case may be, and you all just hijacked an entire movement and based it upon the election. Now you're paying $3 and some cents for gas. Talk about it. And don't want to talk about it. You all just sticking your nose and all, and everybody's in situations that don't involve you. You had your chance. So either you're gonna support the new generations or just get out the way. Just get out the way. Let me see what Ty said. Wait, the city of West Palm needs help. They're never gonna do anything different until that office clear out. I heard a couple of them people are gone, but I was there. It was definitely an interesting situation. I think we did a lot, though. I think we did a lot. Even when I walked in there and I looked at the remember they put all the pictures on the walls across. Matter of fact, Akeem, who was there from just got a job as a teacher at a school. So shouts out to him. We did a lot of work. Until politics and old timers got involved. And then it was time for us to go and move on to other things to make our way in the world. So, and a lot of those people are still there, probably. You know what I mean? That weren't pushed out or retired. So we know what it is. I feel like I'm gonna get jumped by some Gen Xers when I leave as I'm riding through the city. I don't care, man. I want all the smoke. The people didn't like it. They want us to feel, hey. Try as they might. I think we left a decent, you know what I mean? We could have, of course, we always could say we could have did more because we could have. But I think we did a lot, man. I looked at a class of young people that came through for a good 3 to 5 year period if they were able to get that from us. And I think a lot of them did. I mean, we in regards to those youth, a lot of them came out having a different thought process because of us being there. You know what I mean? Compared to other parks, other places that they were going to. You could see the difference. Remember when we moved to Pleasant City? Our kids compared to what was going on at Pleasant City was night and day. I remember it was night and day. So, shouts out to what it is that we did. So they can never take that from us. We had the #1 program for our for our city, for our population in the country. It was top 5 in the country. I remember seeing that stat while we were there. We did a lot. Taking those kids to Atlanta. When was the last time they went? When was the last time you heard of college and took an airplane to Atlanta? Went to some of the best restaurants in Atlanta, just getting people, those kids, the exposure. And each kid that got that kind of exposure had a different outlook, regardless of how they did it. And that was with us just having to deal with them for a couple hours out of the day, except for when we went to Atlanta, we went there for like 4 or 5 days. But that is the type of things that's going to make a difference. It's the exposure. That's what made a difference in my life, is the exposure. When I was, going back and forth, I was lucky enough to go back and forth to Jamaica to have to deal with that kind of lifestyle, to actually see and live true poverty. That's poverty. We had to go and get our water from the village and come back. So now when you come back, the work is not like a lot of stuff that we're going through is not that hard. A lot of us we're living in certain communities, but most of these kids have phones, etc. I mean, but they do have some messed up parents. I'm not going to take that away from them. They do, but do you need to expose them to some more positive things? Shouts out to Lou Morodo. Shouts out to Thurlow. Shouts out to Scolo, Gus, the whole WPPD department that used to come and do their overtime at the city of West Palm Beach, and that actually broke the barriers and had great communication with those children. Those people, that community that was distrusting of the law, and they came and they actually broke down the barriers and actually showed them that, hey,
they're both people at the same time. And a big boo to the ones that came and did the overtime and were just nasty as all could be. RoboCop. I don't even know. I forget what his name was. He was terrible. He's probably still looking for me because I'm glad I got him taken off of that detail. I forget what his name is, and it's a good thing too because I probably would have said it. But shouts out to the ones that did come through and actually develop relationships with those kids, just like we did. Because they still see me and call me Mr. Mike. And like I said, I'm proud of a lot of them. I'm proud of a lot of them. Ty, it's been an hour. I appreciate you going back and forth with me. Once again, people, anyone who wants to add comments, wants to be on the show, if you want to be on the show or you want to showcase something, please let me know. Hit me in the DMs, comment, share, like it. I love you guys. Keep coming through. And I appreciate the comments that you all give me. I don't appreciate how you ain't liking and sharing it, though. Stop sneaking my stuff. Just sneak liking me and telling me I'm doing great. And you're listening to the entire conversation and you're not sharing it, you're not liking it, you're not engaging. But you want to call me or you want to engage with me through DMs. Come on, man. Show some love. People need to see this type of stuff. All right, I'm out. Have a great night. Have a great week. I will be back. Oh, yeah. Community Beacon, 6:30 on Friday. Make sure you check in. Excellent conversations with Joe.